Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Raw Rewire. You already know what the fuck we do here. The healing is not polished, the growth is definitely not linear, and the only rule here is we tell the fucking truth about how we feel. I am so fucking excited to have this episode today. Not only is it our first video fucking podcast, but we are talking about one of my favorite topics, and that is spirituality and connection to the divine, to source, and what that does inside ourselves as a part of our healing journey. There's actually like scientific things and biological things that happen inside our brain when we pray and meditate, and we're going to fucking dive into what all of that means today. Um, I'm joined by my friend, the motherfucking monk. He needs no other introduction than that. I came across you on TikTok and I fucking fell in love with the shit that you were talking about and the fact that you say fuck just as much as I do. So I will delay no longer. Let me allow him to introduce himself and let's fucking get into it today. Welcome.
All right. Thank you very much. Like you said, I'm the motherfucking monk. I got my camera right here. ActionMF Jackson, the motherfucking monk. And I guess to make long story short, I'm here to help end human suffering. For the folks that meditate and say fuck a lot. And I won't say it's just for them, but I feel like anybody who is either not really giving a fuck about the whole language thing, like cuss words and that kind of thing, or it's kind of on the verge of they want to, but they're not quite there. I think of those people as spiritual leaders, because you gotta be able to get off the path that's been given to you to lead, leaders, not followers, that's and I really see people who are free like that as the new spiritual leaders. So what's happening? How y'all doing? What's going on?
I love it. I love it. And I love getting over this whole language barrier of saying cuss words, right? I get a lot of pushback on some of my videos, not a whole lot. Some people will come along sometimes and be like, why do you have to curse so much? And I'm like, this is literally how I talk. It's how I express myself. It is just words that help me enunciate how I'm feeling. That is really it. And the meaning that you have assigned to those words, I don't necessarily assign that same meaning to them or offensiveness to them. And I think that there are a lot of people in our world that are just fucking hungry for real talk. People that are just fucking talking and authentic. And this is as authentic as you're going to get with me. When I talk like this, then you know that I am being my most perfect self, my most self. Um, what really got you into wanting to like lead other people to this too? Is it something that you feel like you have always done, or has this been like a new thing for you?
Well, like unconsciously, it has been something that I've done, kind of just being bright, shiny, happy type motherfucker. Like when I used to go out with my friends, I was always just that vibe. Like even when I didn't want to go out, they were like, "Oh, you should come out, you should come out." And then when I did finally end up going out, I always had a good time because that was what I really wanted to do. I wanted to have a good time and show my peoples a good time. And me just being out and about like that, being myself, is really where it started for me to really just want to put that energy out like
Mm-hmm.
consciously. And just
Yeah.
want to be a good person, that kind of thing. And then after I met the monk, the motherfucking monk, after I like to call it a series of fortunate events when the manifestation starts and just keeps piling and piling and piling on itself. So it's like, whoa, amazingness. When I met him, I asked him what I could take from the retreat. It was like 4 days with him. From the retreat, I asked him. He said, happiness. He didn't say teach everybody about the chakras. He didn't say stop the bad guys. He didn't say none of that crazy. He just said spread happiness. And that's when I really decided, like, oh well, I've been doing that. Now I can really focus on. Uh-oh, hold on a
Oh, did I
second.
lose you there for a second?
Something happened with my camera. Hold on a second.
That's all right. I still got you down here. I don't
Oh,
know
for
what
sure.
cameras you looking
Yeah,
at. There we go.
I got a good camera here. And I'm looking like,
I know I'm the same way. I got my good camera up on top of my laptop. I'm like, please let this thing work today. I'm not trying to do it with my fuzzy camera.
sure. But yeah. So after that, it just became my mission to, be the light. And that's really the most
Mm-hmm.
simple way I can put it. And as I got more into my spiritual journey and started understanding, when you're happy, you're not just happy, you're aligned with the rest of you, with the non-physical part, the infinite creative source that's all of us, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So then it was like, oh, so being happy really is the way, you know? And of
Yeah.
course, happy people don't do foul shit. If you're happy for real, you're not out here harming people. You're not out here moving with a scarcity mindset or is trying to shit on people so you can have more. You feel good. You want to spread that goodness. So
I love that. And that's such a great way to put it too. Like go out there and seek happiness. And I never thought about it the way you just put it. Happy people that are authentically happy aren't going out there doing foul shit. You know, like we're not out there hurting people. We're trying to heal ourselves, be happy, spread that happiness and joy and raise that vibration wherever we go in any situation that we're in, you know?
and the key thing is it's not seeking happiness out there because it's not out there, it's within. You spread the happiness that you find in here out, but chasing
Mm-hmm.
it out there, it's like you're going in the wrong direction, you know.
Yeah, thank you for that because that is absolutely true. And I think I spent so many years of my life thinking that when I got to a destination or I accomplished something or I had something, that would make me happy. And it made me miserable most of my life. And I kept thinking, well, something's wrong with me. I can't be happy. I can't have these things. And it's like that is such a self sabotage when you're not thinking in that mindset of no, I have literally everything inside of me to make this world that's inside of me happy. And then once that well is filled up, then I can take that and spread that energy to other people. But it has to start in here first, and nothing outside of ourselves is going to bring that same joy and connection that we discover in here.
Mhm. It has to be
Yeah.
lasting like that too, you know, because you can set all these goals, then you spend all this time trying to get to a goal, then you get to the goal and you're like, yay, but after that it's like, oh, well, what the fuck? I gotta go do some more shit to get happy again. So you do all this work to get to this one point where it's like finally, then it's the same thing again and again and again. And you start
Mhm.
to find like I've been doing all the shit that they told me to do, and I'm still not fucking happy. I'm still not feeling good. I've checked all the fucking check boxes and I'm still feeling like shit. You know, and some
Yep.
people
Yep.
go deeper into the outside, and some people get into drugs or get addicted to this, addicted to that. All they're trying to do is find that alignment in the things that they're addicted to. You know, you might have seen the
Hmm.
video when I talk about addiction, and it's just the addiction of looking for the feeling of finding source outside of yourself, trying to feel good with something outside of yourself. Some people get addicted to food, some people get addicted to sex, drugs, other people, you know,
Hmm.
trying to find
Yeah.
that
Anything.
feeling everywhere except within. You
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
So
I love that. That's so true. Like I've been involved with people that have had addiction in their lives, and it's been really sad to watch them go down that road because they truly do. They don't really realize that they're trying to fill a hole inside themselves that cannot be stuffed full of drugs or anything
mhm.
else, food, none of it, social media. We try to, right? Because we want to avoid the discomfort of actually dealing with the hole, right? Of course we do,
Yeah.
because that shit hurts. So it's like, I'm not going to look at that. I'm going to come over here and fill it with something that makes me feel good right now. One of the things that I actually did a video on this recently, the nervous system does not give a fuck about 6 hours from now or 6 months from now or any of that. It's not care. It doesn't give a shit about the fucking future. It cares about how I'm feeling in this moment and how I'm going to be feeling 5 minutes from now. Am I going to be alive in 5 minutes from now? And addiction is huge because it absolutely, without that drug, makes you feel like you are going to fucking die within the next 5 minutes. And let me say this too, because I wanted to talk about this earlier, because you had said something about being in alignment spiritually and energetically, right? And I think so much of us are not disconnected from that, but like out of alignment, right? With spirit, because it's not a practice that we really take into consideration with intention daily to incorporate that into our lives. Are there times when you feel out of alignment spiritually? And what does that feel like to you personally? Like, could you describe that so someone could also understand if they're out of alignment spiritually and they need to work on some shit?
First of all,
Lay it on me because you're probably going to be talking to me.
well, yeah, it's there's I'm constantly out of alignment, a lot of times. Just that feeling of any negative feeling. It's any negative feeling. Anger, frustration, any shit like that. If you're feeling that, you're not in alignment. And when you're in alignment, you're looking at your life from the perspective of source. Source can see all the shit because source
Mhm.
is all the shit. If I'm looking at my life from my ego perspective, which is based on everything that I know, everything I can see, things that I've picked up, beliefs and shit like that, it's all very limiting. I'm really scared for the future. I'm upset at my situation because I don't know that something great is on the way in. You know,
Yeah.
so all I won't say always, but I do have my moments. But of course, because I've it's my practice and my teaching to come back to center, I'm always watching myself too.
Yeah.
Trying to
Well,
catch,
that
trying to.
awareness is huge. I'm
Oh yeah,
sorry, I
oh yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt you. I told you I was going to do this. I'm an interrupter. But it's
But that's
huge. And I love this because it relates back to nervous system regulation, too. One of the first keys in figuring out where you're at is having that awareness of whether you're dysregulated or out of alignment, essentially, with your nervous system or out of alignment with source. Um, how what do you do when you're out of alignment? What are the practices that you would use to kind of get yourself back into it? Is it the same every time or is it different depending on how you're feeling or what you're going through?
um hmm. I will say different things can work for different times and different people because
Mhm.
everything that you feel a certain way about sometimes it's you haven't been feeling that way a long time. It's just something little that pops up and it's on you. But a lot
Yeah.
of times it's something that's you've been upset about for a while, something that's got momentum behind it. If something has
Hmm.
a momentum behind it, it's going to be harder to get off that path just because it's already rolling.
Yeah.
So in cases like that, I find that first being at peace, finding peace where I am, first of all,
Hmm.
and then moving up the vibrational scale from there, kind of talking myself up. And it's not about trying to jump from anger or anything like really low. I got the scale right here behind me. Anything down here, way down here, like powerlessness and fear, up to joy and freedom, because that's going to take a lot of movement. But if I'm down
Hmm.
here in powerlessness, I might be able to get up to like anger or something like that. I might be able to talk myself up to, doubt, something that's
Hmm.
close in the vicinity. It's about talking yourself up a little bit at a time. And you talk yourself up by finding thoughts that give you relief. I
Hmm.
might even say just look for that feeling of relief instead of really the thoughts, if that makes sense. 'Cause it's like
It totally makes
I'm
sense.
trying to think things versus I'm trying to feel things.
Hmm.
So another practice that I've been doing just out of the blue, not even when I'm trying to take myself away from a negative thought, but when I'm just trying to create positive momentum, I just lay on the floor and just think, what does ease feel like? What does uh, victory feel like? What does confidence feel like? And just like let that feeling flow through and just kind of bask in that, start to
Yeah.
visualize scenarios when I'm feeling confident. Like if I'm out and I'm at the bar and the girls talking to me, they saying hi, I'm like, oh shit, I'm feeling good right now. So I just imagine that shit like, hell yeah, that's really nice. I like that
I
feeling.
love it.
And the best thing is, it's not about feeling good about what you're trying to manifest or what it is that's bugging you. It's about feeling good, period, in general.
Yes.
Because really,
Yeah.
it's all energy. Really, it's all energy. So, regardless if you're feeling good about you just had some food or the person you like just text you, it's good feeling. So it attaches to anything else
Hmm.
that's good feeling, it's the outcome that you're seeking with your goals. So you're letting those things flow in when you're focused on things that make you feel good.
I love this. I teach a visualization exercise with people when they're trying to connect back to themselves and regulate their nervous system. They're in that triage. They're just learning about it. They're trying to work their way out of it. And we have I call it a perfect self visualization, but I'm actually going to probably change the name because I don't like the word perfect because we never really achieve perfection. That can be limiting. But it's basically you are thinking about yourself in the future, with the characteristics that you're currently wanting to change, right? Whatever it is. And that's a very broad thing. We get real specific when I'm working one on one with people. But the visualization exercise I give them, I let them know it is less about what you're thinking about and more about how you're feeling about what you're thinking about, right? It's that perspective shift, right? That creates that good energy, that good juju, all those good, like dopamine to your nervous system. I mean, there's a whole biology that goes on when we feel a positive emotion versus a negative emotion. There's two different things that happen in our body. And the more time I tell people that you can spend imagining and feeling that emotion of what it is you want in the future here now, like that's where the juice is. It's not off in the future. You can have that feeling right now, and that is what's going to draw that thing closer to you, whether it's healing or a job or a thing you want or whatever. It's all like, whether we're talking about nervous system or we're talking about the stuff you do, it's all manifesting with your energy. It's all creating the life that you want and using your energy and your life force, for lack of a better word, to bring that to fruition, right?
Hmm.
Where we run into issues, I feel like, with people with dysregulated nervous systems, that self-worth can be so low that they don't even really realize how powerful of a being they are, that they can use those aspects
Oh yeah.
of
Oh yeah.
themselves to create and to heal and to change and fix and do these things that they want to do that they think are outside of their control. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I have a feeling you agree with me, but I just, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I fucking,
Definitely.
it's all about how you feel.
Definitely. And we're not taught that though. Everybody's programmed to be so focused on the physical world. Be focused on what somebody else is doing and how that's making you feel versus I'm I'm having feelings within me. It's they're not doing anything that's fucking with me. I'm fucking with me. You
Yeah.
know.
Thank you.
And
Can you say that a little louder? Can you say that a little louder, please?
they're not doing anything. They just over there doing things. And I'm perceiving that shit a certain way that's making me feel a certain way. So I don't have
Mhm.
to be get all bent out of shape about something. And if I'm in alignment, I already understand that the things that I deem as problems, as soon as I thought it was a problem, there was a solution. And the more I focus
Mm.
on the problem, the more I perpetuate the problem because the energy is going to the problem. But when you switch to the solutions, giving the energy to the solutions, you're attracting what you need to overcome this problem.
Mhm.
And like I said, it's all programming. Even when we were kids, your parents get mad at you for getting bad grades, and they show you, they basically say, "You're pissing me off." And you see that as a kid, so okay, if somebody's doing something that I don't like, they pissing me off. Well, really, they just living. Really, a lot of times, of
Yeah.
course, people do
Mhm.
harmful shit, but for the most part, we're just reacting to people doing little shit when we don't have to react, but we've been
Mhm.
taught. So it's like,
Yeah.
fuck.
And so much of our like shit, right, that we deal with, our trauma does come from when we're little kids, and it comes from small things like that, where and I'm not blaming everything on my parents, right? They just were doing the best they could at the time. But
Mhm.
it's small little things like that and responses to us as little children. Like, we're having an emotion, we're having an outburst, and a strong emotion we don't know how to deal with because we're 4 years old, right? And that parental figure says to you, either be quiet, I'm gonna give you something to cry about, or shut up, like you're making me mad because you're crying, go to your room. We don't do that. And I'm guilty as a parent of saying those things myself in the past too, not realizing what I was actually doing. Those create traumas within us as little kids where we absolutely equate our actions and how other people feel. And we either, like, most of the time we diminish who the fuck we are because we are scared of that reaction. Because as a 4 year old, your parents mad at you because you're crying, you're already fucked up because something's happened that's making you cry. And now your caregiver, the person who's supposed to be nurturing you and loving towards you and support you through that, is fucking mad. And it's so very confusing to our little fucking brains. We don't know how to process that shit. And I have another thought about that I'd love to hear your thoughts on. You know, as little children in our minds, like, because our caregivers are so important to us, our parents, they're the ones that give us life, right? A lot of me feels like we also equate that to our creator, right? Because as a baby, that's all we really know. Is these parents are our creator. And I'm curious if you have any thoughts about having a fractured relationship with our parents. Do you think that affects our relationship to source? and makes us, if that relationship as a child was so traumatic or dismissive or just negative, how do you think that affects that?
So that can go either way because you can have a great life where your parents raise you. Personally, both parents, two-parent household, great set of parents. I got my
Mm-hmm.
confidence very early, so I stopped giving a fuck really, really early, you know.
Good.
And I learned my confidence and my ability to just disregard external validation from my dad. So I got that really quickly, and from the
Mm-hmm.
person who was supposed to give me those kind of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody who has parents who are terrible fucking parents, they won't have that loving experience, but they will have to learn to find love within early on. That's
Mm-hmm.
if they don't take what happened with their parents and internalize it as like, oh, I'm a bad person, I'm fucked up. Instead, you be like, you know what? I'll just have to love myself because that's really what it is. Love yourself. That's the
Yeah.
biggest teaching there is. And if this person can learn that early on to love themselves and just be happy, validating themselves and that kind of thing, they can live a fucking miraculous life. You know,
Yeah.
but if they go the other way and they feel beat down and sad by their relationship with their parents, you know, then they live that negative spiral. You know,
Yeah.
at
And
the
I
same
think
time,
most of the time, mhm. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say at the same time, somebody who has a good upbringing can also slip into that. Oh, they love me. I got to find that love outside of myself. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, what's
It
the
could go, it's such a unique experience, I think, person to person. I know most of us that have had, traumatic experiences with our parents when we're young tend to go down the route of internalizing that and making ourselves feel like something is wrong with us because we couldn't earn that love in the way that we felt like we needed it. And so we tend to go, yeah, down that opposite path of seeking that love in anything external and never really realizing that it's in here. I mean, that's my story in a nutshell, right? I don't feel like growing up there were a lot of instances where I was made to feel like your emotions don't matter, your thoughts and opinions don't matter. Um, you're not allowed to have strong emotions. You have to sit down, shut up, and be quiet. And if you don't, then we're going to ship you off to boarding school and leave you there. That's how I felt. That's not really how it all went down. That's how it felt to my system at the time as a teenager. I was like, man, y'all are just rejecting me at every turn. I must be rejectable. That's kind of how it translated in my mind. And I didn't realize it was 40 years later before I realized, oh, fuck. Like, I have to look in here. I'm never going to find it in that man or that job or that car or that money. I have to find it in here. And then that's where it sticks. And since I realized that, it's not been like an overnight easy thing. It never is.
right.
But I can say when I feel connected, like to source and to that love within myself, I feel more in alignment than I ever do in anything I've ever done. Like that feeling is so palpable to me. It's amazing. I love it. But yeah, we go down that wrong path for too long where we internalize it and go, we're the problem, we're unlovable. No, those people just didn't know how to love you correctly. They didn't know how to handle that shit either.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think? I'm gonna shift it a little bit. What do you think is the hardest part about being consistent with your spiritual practice? Because I know that anything we do, like consistency is key, right? And whether it's our spiritual practice, healing, anything like that, habits we're trying to create. But it also seems to be for me one of the hardest things to keep consistent unless I make it a habit, right? So, what do you think is the hardest thing for you about staying consistent with all of that?
Like you said, getting away from the old beliefs, from the beliefs that have put you where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if you're not enjoying where you are, then something's been off all this time. And because something's been off for so long, it's a deeply embedded path. You just kind of default to those negative thoughts or those negative habits or something like that. I think that's the most
Mm-hmm.
difficult part, undoing all the programming that's been done. And I
Yeah.
like refer to it as peeling back the layers of ego. I talk about ego a lot, how it doesn't really die. It just like evolves. It's
Mm-hmm.
always born as something that can be closer to spirit if you guide it that way. So you just keep on shedding those layers till you get to the core of everything. And you can really be at the core, like right now. But then something
Mhm.
happens and you're pissed off and like, you kind of get stuck in that shit again. But it's always like trying to lead you back to where you are.
Mhm.
Like I said, when you feeling powerless, you might start to feel upset about some shit. If you think about oh, my parents, they always coming down on me, think like, what, fuck them. They shouldn't have brought me into the world in the first place. Going from here to here is a good thing. You
Mhm.
know, you don't want to stay in anger, but you're always being called up the emotional scale by source. It's always trying to get you up here, even when you're down here. That might look like
Mhm.
something here at first, but it's calling you upwards. You have to remember, even when you're feeling like that, it's calling you, it's beckoning you to come up still.
Yeah. And I
So you,
love that. Like that's a good example for people too that are in any kind of healing space in their life. Like even you're moving up the scale. Any progress is progress. We just never want to stay there. And that's what I was thinking about when you were talking about that and showing your thing behind you. And I've seen ones like that before. I love that because it's such a good visual example of how to progress upwards from the emotion where you're at. Like, what is the next emotion? What is the next thing? How do we move up in that and try to attain that higher energy level or vibration or emotion or feeling in our healing? And I say to people all the time, like, when we're doing like healing work like this and we're digging out some of our shit, it's like, well, I went from being like depressed to angry, or, like there was a progression into another maybe negative emotion. And they sometimes will interpret that of, it's not working or I'm doing the wrong thing. And it's like, no, actually, let's break this down. You're actually moving forward. You're just not out of the shit yet,
there we
but
go.
you're going in the right fucking direction. We just got to keep doing that. And I think that's so important, having those ways of explaining it to people to show them, like, yes, I know. We just still got to keep moving up. Don't stay here. Keep going. It's okay that we're here. It's not a bad thing. Keep moving. Keep
Yeah.
going up the chart there. Do you have anything that you do daily? Like I know we've talked about like when you notice that you're out of alignment, there are things that you do that will bring you back into that. Is there any kind of daily practice that you do that's like a non-negotiable for you that supports your connection to source and to the divine and kind of feeling that way?
It would either be just straight up meditation, the usual silence, darkness, that kind of thing, or the focused, positive thinking. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
stay there and just think about how an emotion feels and let you and feel that. That in a intention setting. Like
Mm-hmm.
before I go to work or get on a call, anything, is just set my intentions for an enjoyable experience, whatever that might uh, encompass. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Whatever that might mean.
Yeah.
Just
Mm-hmm.
having enlightening conversations, having good conversations, insightful shit, learning something new, teaching something new,
Mm-hmm.
having that setting those intentions in the morning, or like I said, whenever I'm going to be out somewhere around people, you know,
Mm-hmm.
expect for good things to happen, because you can like we're energy first, so you can put your energy somewhere before you physically get there. And by
Yes.
setting your intentions and imagining things going well, you can set yourself up to experience the best parts of any moment you enter into.
Yeah.
So
And I
yeah,
love this because neurologically what you're doing there too. Like I believe in both. I believe in biology and like spirit and energy, right? I
yeah,
think they both go hand in hand. But what you're also doing there neurologically when you envision best case scenario or you set your intention before you enter a space, you're essentially preparing your nervous system for what to expect so that it's prepared. So our brains love to fucking predict are what's going to happen. That's what they fucking do. And so that's why it feels very uncomfortable sometimes to go into a new situation that you've never been in before because your brain's kind of like, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. Like, what do you mean you're putting me in this? I can't predict what's going to happen. That feels weird and dangerous. But that intention setting that you do, it says to your fucking nervous system, this is good. We're going to have a good time. And we're going to be looking out for that good time. There's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system, which is like a filter in your mind. And when you think consistently negative thoughts, it's scanning for all the things that validate that belief, right? That the world is a scary place. But if you're going out and you're like, okay, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to bring my energy to this space. I'm going to have enlightening conversations. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And then you get there and you do those things, and your brain and your nervous system calm the fuck down because they're like, oh shit, he did predict it and it was safe and we had fun. And it shows it that um, the more you continue to do that, because there's energy and intention setting, but there's also that calming your nervous system down to accept all of what you're calling in based
Mm.
on your intentions too. So
Yep.
that's what fucking lights me up. Like, I don't even know what else to say about it. Like, when we talk about spirit and connection to divine and like how that feels and what that does for manifesting and creating the life we want, for me to be able to look at it and see how it ties into our nervous system and biologically it makes sense why all that happens. I'm like, this is my fucking jam. I fucking love it because it's so synchronistic with it, with how how our system is supposed to operate as a base level. Like, we're dysregulated, so our systems aren't operating how they're designed to. But like co-regulating with spiritual practices like helps line it up so that our bodies, our brains, and our energy are as powerful as they are supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
That's my fucking jam.
Yeah. Exactly. And it all starts with the energy because everything in existence started with energy. So when you start thinking about using the energy behind everything instead of trying to fix the things that are coming from the energy, you know, everything
Mm-hmm.
changes you, with that different perspective. You start to think more emotionally, you start to be more aware of how you're feeling at all times. Or when you enter a space, entering a space with intention. We are just talking about it.
Mm-hmm. There's no
And
other way to say it. Yeah.
and the main intention for me now is like just show up and be spirit, be as big and bright as I can possibly be because my energy has led me here. Spirit has me here for a reason, I feel like, so I show up in spaces like I'm really meant to be there. So I don't play anything small. If I find myself feeling a little nervous or anything, I just remember like spirit got me. Just trust the things that come out your mouth. Trust the things that you are drawn to say, and
Mm-hmm.
get out there and be that. Just do those, I'll say, off the wall things. So some of this shit you be like, "Ooh, do I really want to do that?" I can recall I was at a like a business seminar or something in San Diego, and all these people learning all this business shit, and they had like a Q&A going around. They was asking people questions, handing them a microphone, and that kind of thing. Most people sit down and get the mic. So when they got to me, I don't know what I was asking, but when they got to me, I get up, give me the mic, so I introduce myself. How y'all doing? I'm Action Motherfucking Jackson. I'm the motherfucking monk. And everybody's like, oh, hilarious. And that right there just shattered the whole room because people were like all timid and shit and not really putting anything out there. But when I did that, that was like the green light, like, hey, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You can do whatever makes you feel good. You can really be yourself. People start
Mm-hmm.
loosening up, that kind of thing. The speakers are like, oh man, this guy's amazing. Started getting all that extra attention just because I decided to play full on instead of dim my shit. And I
Yeah.
always like it's the example. You set the example. You don't try to force people to do anything. You just show up, show out, and people are gonna
Mm-hmm.
feel that.
And I love this story because we all have a purpose, right? All of us have a spirit purpose. Our energy is older than our body. I believe we've been here 8 million times before. This body's temporary. It just happens to fit how our soul works, right? We all have a purpose here. We've all come here for some sort of reason. And when you do exactly what you did, you're just like, you know what? I'm going to be my authentic self in this moment. It allowed so much energy to come through for other people to release the cage they've put around themselves, self-imposed cage. If I have to act a certain way or I can't be myself, I have to be very professional in this setting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? There's nothing unprofessional about being yourself either, and just being your authentic version of you. And I think that's beautiful and amazing because when we stay away from hiding like our true light, other people miss out on the things that universe wants to share through us. Like, it through my TikTok channel, I've had a lot of people come to me and be like, "Oh my god, you have changed my life." Right? You've changed my life, and everything you've said is just shattered everything for me, and this is beautiful and amazing. And I have to like remind these people, I'm just a conduit for the information and that energy to you. I love that you're coming to tell me this because it makes me feel good about the things that I'm doing. But I was just a channel for that energy to come to you, and you saved yourself. And you and universe had that conversation. Like I just was the vehicle to get it to you in that one moment, right? That you felt like you needed it. And when I came out on TikTok, I had been struggling because I had not been showing my authentic self, not following the path I wanted to. And so when I came on here, I said, you know what? I'm going to do the damn thing. I'm just going to show them who the fuck I am. And whatever happens from that happens. And it blew the fuck up out of nowhere. Not surprisingly, but surprisingly, because that's just what happens when you let your authenticity shine. Universe will use you to deliver that information to the right people that fucking need it. And I think that shit's beautiful. I think it's absolutely beautiful.
And not to mention, just having that energy going that direction is going to call back more stuff in that energy, So things start manifesting with that same
Mm-hmm.
high energy that you've been putting out. So the longer
Yeah,
you can maintain that momentum, the more amazing shit coming in your life.
that's true. I can't tell you the people that I have met on this journey and the connections I've made and the things I've learned from those people, the friends that I've made, even down to this is not the most important part of it, but business things that are happening in the background, things I'm going to be able to bring people that are going to help even more, help me, help them, help everybody. It's all of it just started going bing, 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 like falling into place. Like my current business partner, I had reached out to her not knowing if she knew anything about somatic healing. I just said, hey, I think this is where I want to take things next. And what do you know about that? Let's talk about somatic healing. And she was like, girl, I've been studying for this my whole life. It's what I do. And I'm like, I had to sit back for a moment and be like, out of all the people I could have chosen to talk to, how did the universe know that was the one? Because the universe fucking knows. Source knows. It's putting the pieces together when you are living in alignment.
Exactly.
Um, do you think it's harder to be more to remain spiritual when your life's a fucking dumpster fire or when shit's going smooth in your life? Personally, for you.
Wow. Probably
I
when
know that's a
shit's
big
going
one.
smooth because you don't really, if you haven't thought about it and haven't been practicing it, then it's not a thing. If you're having a good
Mm-hmm.
time in life, it's like you're not even thinking about trying to focus your energy and that kind of thing. But when you
Yeah.
start shit start going awry and you start trying to learn more, trying to solve something, you really are out focusing more energy. You're focusing more. You have a problem, so
Mm-hmm.
now focusing, get to a solution. And of course, you got to shift your focus, but whenever there's a problem, there is a solution there too. So I would definitely
Mm-hmm.
say in the beginning, when things were going well, you're just not thinking about that. But nowadays, if
Mm-hmm.
things are going well, I know, okay, my energy's been up, shit is happening, great shit is happening. When things are going strange, I'm like, all right, where's my energy been at? What have I been
Yeah.
thinking? What have I been feeling? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Hell
And I
yeah.
think that's also alludes to why it's so important to have like a daily practice, just something that anchors you in source. And I've struggled with this, right? Because I have ADHD. It is very difficult for me to, unless that routine is ingrained as a habit, like a strong neural pathway habit, I just have a hard time sticking to the shit that I need to do every day. But it's so important because then I think it anchors you when things are going good, but it anchors you, especially when things are going bad, because you have that practice to fall back on. And yeah, I teach people when we're healing, you've got to have something that's consistent every single day,
Mhm.
only because it shows your brain safety through consistency and repetition and all of that. But I think even more so, having a spiritual practice, a spiritual ritual connects us to the divine in more ways than just having just things we do every day. Right. And I think that's so important to that sense of community. Like something that I did some research before we got on here. And one of the things that like I wrote down because it like shot out at me, one of the biggest things in healing your nervous system is being able to regulate, to co-regulate with someone, right? At some point when we're healing our nervous system, we have to learn how to co-regulate with another human being. And that actually, once we learn how to do that, that actually like explodes our healing in all kinds of ways. Like it makes it good, it exponentially expands it. But what I found in my research is that in our brain and our nervous system, our attachment like system in our brain doesn't give a fuck if that co-regulator is a human or an image in your mind of the divine, right? Of source of what you came from. It just, your system just needs to feel like it's not alone. And so many of us isolate in our healing because we feel like people don't understand, people can't handle our shit, and nobody wants to hear it. Like we tell ourselves all these excuses. So we withdraw from people around us. But like that's the one thing we actually need is that community and that feeling that we're not alone. And I got to tell you, I know my spiritual practices in the moment when I have been able to see evidence of the fact that like there's a plan and I'm not alone in my shit, because I've felt like I've been alone most of my life. But in those moments when I'm connected and I can feel, okay, I'm I've got a co-partner in this, and it doesn't have to be a human co-partner because those motherfuckers are complicated, okay? But it's just like so much. So I say this because I want people to know it. There's so many people that feel like they're alone in their healing. You don't fucking have to be, even if you don't want to be around people. Find that connection to source, to divine, to something that makes you feel like you are not alone because it's
Yes,
fucking huge and it'll heal you.
that's the way. That's the way. Like the more I get into, I've always kind of been like a loner type anyway. But the more I get into
Mm-hmm.
my spiritual practice, the more I realize like I don't need anybody around me to feel better, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
if I did need people around me, that's a problem. Because what if nobody's around, you know? So it's
Mm-hmm.
never been about trying to find people to be like me and to give to my problems and shit. It's been about talking to spirit. Because if I ever find myself in a place where I'm upset or I'm feeling vulnerable or something, I haven't aligned myself with the source perspective. And this it's
Mm-hmm.
not that some people will need to go out and talk to people and that kind of thing, but I'm past that. I need to
Yeah.
find what source is thinking about what I'm looking at, and get on par with that. Not ask a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
people, oh, I'm hurt. Oh, not especially not vent. Venting is just perpetuating the problem, but now I'm trying to share it with somebody, and I'm like, I don't want you to feel this right now. I want to get this tight right here, and then come
Mm-hmm.
back. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm a person who's always needed like votes of confidence and shit like that. I am confident. I know that. I don't need somebody to pat me on the back and say it's gonna be okay. I need somebody to be like, yo, you fucking practice this shit. Get it together. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're right. It's not like, oh, you didn't listen to my cry. No, you're fucking right. I do need to get together. This is what the fucking practice. You know?
Yes.
It's really about always going within. Whenever you find, oh, I gotta talk to somebody. No, you don't. You need to go within. Get with spirit and figure out what the
Mm-hmm.
fuck is going wrong, you know? Which is
Yeah.
always perspective. You're always looking at things from the wrong perspective.
Yeah. And it's usually looking at them from a more egocentric human
Oh,
perspective
oh,
than
100%.
being able to zoom out and see the big picture.
Mhm.
And that's something I've always practiced and tried to do is zoom out and see the big picture because it's bigger than just what's going on right in front of me. It always is, right? Anything in this world is. And I love that in a way I've flexed that muscle. And so in a lot of situations I can go, yes, I'm feeling this way, or I'm experiencing this thing, or I think I'm experiencing this thing and feeling this way from it. And this is what I think about it. But hold on, let me back up a little bit and look at it from a little wider perspective. And usually that shows me, hey, you're like, you've got limited thinking on this. Open it up a little bit, see what benefit it's going to have over here. XYZ, right? That's kind of vague. You can kind of apply it to anything. Um, but yeah, it's so important. And we have to go within. It's kind of crazy. We have to go within in order to be able to zoom the fuck out. Right?
Yeah.
We cannot zoom without if we are looking at everything external and going, okay, that's where my fixes are. You're never going to be able to see the big picture because it comes from looking at your fucking soul, and connecting back with that.
Yeah. And remember, like, what is right now is old. Like this current physical moment is done. It's already created. It can't do anything right now except affect what I create in the next moment. So if this moment
Mm-hmm.
that I've created, if I'm looking at it and being pissed off, I'm putting out that negative energy, which is going to create the next moment, which is going to bring me something that's going to make me feel like, oh, I don't like this. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so just being cognizant. Okay, this is what I've created right now, and right now is the jumping point for the next thing. So I got to get my
Mhm.
shit together right now energetically, so the next thing isn't the same thing as right now if I'm not uh, enjoying my now experience.
Yeah. And when you say get your energy correct in that moment, because I love this, because I want to go down this path a little bit, right? Um, how do I say this? Because everything you're saying is correct. What we experience now, we have manifested from the way we felt or experiences we've had of things we've thought prior to this. So we can't change it. All we can do is go, okay, I don't, like you said, I don't necessarily like where I'm at now. So I need to fix my shit now so that I can create something new. When someone has that realization, what does that, for lack of a better way to saying it, get your shit right now? What does that look like? Is it like we talked about earlier, just kind of pausing, getting back into how you feel and taking note of how do I feel on the inside?
Change perspective. You know, you can really be like feeling like shit and be like, well, I'm looking at this from this perspective. What is spirit looking at this with? What is spirit feeling from this? Not what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anything negative. Spirit knows all the solutions are there. All there's no problems. Everything's already solved for you. There's nothing to panic about. You should be
Yeah.
enjoying life and that kind of thing. It's not looking at things from a oh everything's fucked perspective or oh this I hate this perspective. It's looking at things from that
Mm-hmm.
positive perspective. And if I'm aware enough to be like, all right, well, spirit's not looking at this like this. I can just look at things like spirit's looking, or how would spirit be looking at this issue, this thing going on right now?
Mm-hmm. What would they say about it? I
Right.
like to look at how I like to take stock of how I feel on the inside at that moment, right?
Mhm.
I kind of like try to tune in. And this can be hard sometimes if people don't know how to like kind of pause and tune in with their body. There's practices I teach people to allow them to listen to their body. But it's kind of a going in and taking a temperature gauge of what does the energy feel like in here? And then going, okay, and accepting that without judgment, right? It's like, okay, we feel that way. How do we need to shift it so that we're not feeling this way? Because we know, like you said, we're looking at it from the wrong perspective. So we need to shift how we feel or shift how we're thinking so that we can shift how we're feeling. Because if we remain in that ick feeling, for lack of a better word, we're going to create more ick. Like we're not creating good from that, you know? And so it's so important. Emotions are kind of, in my mind, that guide
Yeah.
to, am I in alignment? Am I, operating from the, I hesitate to say right
Higher
perspective,
perspective,
but
just higher
higher
perspective.
perspective. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. From that higher consciousness, higher perspective. And those emotions are key to that because that's what tells us where we are. It's our
Yeah.
indicator, essentially.
Spirituality is emotional management. It's emotional. You know, like
Yeah.
100%. It's emotional management. Yep. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of people get that. I think a lot of people are stuck at more superficial levels when it comes to this shit. Because if you really understood it was all about energy, you wouldn't be fucking off your energy on every fucking thing, especially since you really can't do anything about. You know, you would be using your energy to create your life in a way you can eventually do something about other things. You know, but you have to get your shit right first before you get into other people's stuff. And especially
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have your own emotions locked up, so you get into other people's stuff. Now you feeling what they feeling, and your energy's fucked up too now. That's why
Yep.
empathy is dangerous. You know, you sit there feeling how they feeling. Now your energy's down. You can't do shit for them. Now your energy's fucked too.
Yep.
So I definitely
Yeah.
say compassion versus empathy because compassion is like I see where you are, but I know who you are. You spirit too. So you might be feeling
Yes.
down now, but you're gonna win. You can win. You can do this. That's compassion instead
Mm-hmm.
of oh you're hurt. I'm hurt too. Now we just fucked up. We just all
Now we
fucked
just
up.
now we
Not
just
gonna
two
work.
heartbroken people.
Yeah, not gonna work. Let's fucking Einstein, I think it was, said you can't solve a problem with the same thinking that caused the problem. And they in the problem and they thinking the same shit. You can't fix shit like that. You can't solve shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Co-regulators are so fucking important because we are that mirror for people too. Because I
Oh,
mean, we all get in that space, right?
oh
Where
yeah.
we forget
Oh,
or we
well,
get caught up.
everybody's a mirror. Everybody's a mirror.
Mhm.
Every single person. Everybody's a mirror for you. You can look at
Yep.
everybody and just either love what they're doing or hate what they're doing, but there's a mirror, regardless of
Hmm.
what's happening, you know?
This shit blew my mind when I first really realized it, and it made me start looking at people a lot differently. And I wasn't looking at people like I was looking more at people like what is what I like or don't like about you teaching me about myself, because that's really what it is. You know, when someone gets under your skin or you don't like them, or especially if it's something like you don't understand right away, it's usually because it's eliminating something in yourself that you need to address or look at or don't realize it's there. And my biggest thing was I in the past would get caught up in people in relationships and not be seeing what they're actually there to teach me or show me, and just getting wrapped up in it in that human egocentric way. But now it's like, yeah, it's that zoom out effect. It's like, holy shit, like it's not, I'm not just looking at you, I'm actually looking at me.
Right.
If I'm paying attention, or even if I'm not paying attention, I'm still looking at me. I just don't know it. And I think it's you, and you're the problem, when really you're just showing me where I'm the problem.
It's just another piece of spirit. I know one time I was on mushrooms and I went to Walmart and I was like, why is there so many of us? Like I was thinking reflections, like it's a lot of fucking reflections. It's like, well, what the fuck? Why so many? You know, that's just one thing that was really hitting me. But just that experience of looking at somebody and understanding they are you. And if we could all have that idea, like you are me and I am you, if I do what's best for you, I'm also doing what's best for me. You know, of course,
Mhm.
within means. But if we looked out for each other like that, everything would be cool. You know, because we
Yeah.
know, even though we're in different bodies, we're still the same source of energy. We're still the same spirit. You know, we take
Hmm.
care of each other when we think like that. You know, also gives
I
you more
love
grace.
that. Yes. Well, when I look at people and I really talk and connect with them, I know that we are all the same source that has broken into millions of pieces to come here and experience this shit and have this experience. And so when I am making new connections and I'm looking at people, it's like, yeah, you're me, you're just in a different avatar. Like we're the same. We've just come down here to have different experiences and to be mirrors in different ways and experience life for what the fuck it is. Life, love, all of it. Like we're just here to fucking do the damn thing. And it's not that goddamn serious. Like life is meant to be enjoyed. We just are kept in fear, we're kept in confusion. We, you know, that coming back to that connection with source, with divine spirit, any religious practice that you have is so crucial to us breaking out of, yeah, this programming. I think that we've all been instilled with, that we're separate, we're alone, we're not part of the same community. No, the fuck we are. The fuck we are.
I will say, like, when you say like religious, because it has connotations, it's just even
Sure.
like in the spiritual community, a lot of people are taking on this religious mindset, and that's basically everybody doing the same thing, having the same experience, the same truth.
Sure.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but as far as a spiritual practice, which is you understanding who you are energetically and
Mm-hmm.
really working on connecting to that and seeing other people as connected to that, you know, and knowing that everybody is here for their own experience. That's really the kind of understanding that you want to take with you. And some people are religious and they get that, you know. But the
Mm-hmm.
mainstream is like, you know, gatekeeping with this religious figure. If you don't celebrate this, if you don't do this, that, you're doomed, you're punished. The God is just a giant human. The guy that's what's the word? I went to a Vipassana before. I'm not sure if you've ever been to one or heard of it, but
No. Mm-mm.
one of the main teachings, I'll let you know about it in a second. One of the main teachings was that I took from it was he said that humans create God in their image, and that's what the religious gods are. They're parents. They're angry parents. If you do something wrong, they're gonna fucking punish you and that kind of shit. It's just a giant
Yeah.
person. It's trying to put an ego on an infinite energy, and that's what really causes all the division and all the control
Yes.
of people. You know,
I
but
love that you brought this up, because I heard myself say religious and I kind of cringed on the inside. And I'm glad you swooped in with that clarification, because that is exactly what it's about. Spiritual practices is about going within and realizing we're all connected. There's a bigger thing to all of it, and not about taking a person and putting them up on a pedestal and going, you have to be perfect like that or you go to wherever the fuck you go. Like,
Right.
come on, give me a fucking break. That shit doesn't really fucking happen. And that belief limits us, it limits us in how powerful we truly are because we're taking that power and we're giving it to somebody else and saying, you have that power and I got to go through you to get it. No, you have that power and you have to look inside and figure it out for yourself to be able to connect and then affect the world around you in the way that we're designed to, you know? So thank you. Thank you for coming in and swooping in with that one because that was fucking timely.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
I want you to tell everybody where they can find you. How can they work with you? Do you work one-on-one with clients? Do you tell the people what the fuck you do? Because after this conversation, I have a feeling some people are probably going to want to talk to you.
Okay, for sure. So ActionMF on everything was TikTok, Instagram. Those are my main places. I got a little link in the bio type shit too, so they're all on that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, like I said, I'm working on spiritual leadership shit. So I have a compilation of different things that I think will help people to really step into that leadership. And it's in my stand store. Right now, I just kind of like threw it all together. I'm gonna improve on it as people work with it and kind of make it better. But it's there. And I just put in my stand store a case study where one of my students he created $30,000 in about 30 days. You know,
What?
yeah, and
I
I say
love
a
that.
disclaimer like this person is like super generous. One was once my mentor and really who introduced me to the monk that I met. So
Yeah.
is already in that space of doing good, doing that kind of thing. Is a fucking has been a millionaire before. You know, like I said, I met him through a series of fortunate events, and I just quick little snippet. I had a time when I was really trying to steal my mind against stress. So I was watching a lot of Tony Robbins and trying to learn a lot of marketing shit, you know, because I
Yeah.
was like a personal trainer trying to figure out business and that kind of thing. After like 3 months of that, I ended up meeting a guy doing personal training who wanted me to come train him. He turned out he was a millionaire marketer. So I was studying all the marketing. Now I get this marketing mentor who's bringing me into all this shit. Then at one of his events, I meet this other guy who used to teach Tony Robbins wealth mastery for him directly. Like Tony was going to be like, all right, we're going to shut this program down. He was like, no, I can teach this. I know this shit. So he started teaching this straight forward to Tony Robbins. So then I meet this guy. And after I've been watching all this Tony Robbins shit, you know, so that was when things kept ramping up. But just knowing him, shit just started exploding because he really opened my mind to so much that I hadn't seen before. But that's the
Yeah.
kind of person who can really has the focus, the dedication, discipline, and just the goodness of heart to attract something that quickly and that on point. You know,
That's
but it's possible.
beautiful.
You know, but I
Yeah,
have
it is possible.
yeah.
I love that. Is that being able to get access to that case study or what it is? Is it free or
Yeah,
does it cost
yeah,
anything? It's free.
that's
They
true.
just got to
It's
sign
like
up.
a lead magnet. You click there, and I'll send you the text because he was texting me after it all
Mm-hmm.
happened. You know, and the magic of the encounter. I'm like, ah, damn! And it was a what I call a match made in heaven. Like when things are just lining up perfectly, the
Yeah.
manifestation that's just like wow, just the amazingness, like the match made in heaven. You know, so it's
Yeah,
just
that's beautiful. I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna go plug in my stuff to your thing, so you'll have my email. You can mark it to me. But I
yeah,
want to check it out, so I'm gonna go check out that link in your bio. Um, so yeah, I have fucking loved our conversation, and I hope you'll come back on my podcast with me another time. Let's talk about some more shit. Let's just dig into it. I love having these fucking conversations, and I hope that people do reach out to you. If people, if anybody that's listening wants help understanding how to create that connection, I'm assuming they can come to you and kind of have that conversation and just learn more, even if they're just watching your videos on TikTok. I know that I watch them every time they show up on my FYP, and I stop and I listen to what you have to say because it always seems to be, and of course I know this is the universe and source doing it. I always get a message that is so applicable to something that I'm dealing with, like on my FYP. And I love that yours come across because it's almost like spirit talking directly to me, going, bitch, listen up. Your motherfucker's on the screen right now. Stop what you're doing and listen to him because you know he's going to say something good. So I implore everybody that follows me and go follow him, check his shit out because we're going to have him back on here.
definitely, definitely. I appreciate it. I appreciate that.
Yes, yes. So thank you, everybody. Basically, just my message is allow the universe to help you get in that connection with it. You know, we don't have to do this shit all on our own. And if you feel like you're on your own, Source is your co-regulator. They are your partner in this. And I am fucking too. Reach out to me, talk to me. I'll fucking help you through this shit too. But we're going to keep unpacking the layers. We're going to keep breaking down the bullshit, doing the damn thing one messy, powerful, fuck it moment at a time. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this with somebody that needs to hear it. And until next time, keep showing up for yourself because the healing fucking matters. Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Bye.